Will the Braves catch the Dodgers napping on a cross-country series opener tonight in Atlanta? Will the Milwaukee Brewers take care of the upstart Mets and Zach Thornton in Queens? Find out now on MLB Bases Loaded. A huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. Two questions posed, answers to be found. It is Tuesday, August the 25th, 2026. MLB Bases Loaded. I'm the Shark. He is Mikey Money. Mike, what's going on this morning?
Man, it's looking like I hope it's a nice day for dogs, because yesterday certainly was not. I felt like I had a couple really good spots out there, but Miami blowing it there at the end was not on my bingo card, and that's how the day started. But we had some really good looks throughout the day. Was surprised. How about Chase Burns getting shut out here? Does a team rebound from a shutout? Are things we're going to find out today. But look, great stuff coming up here. College football right around the corner, but baseball don't stop. We don't stop. You guys know the deal. We work hard today, right now, so that we can play hard later. We get the work done. Then we go out there and we fire it up and have some fun this afternoon into this evening. So I'm looking forward, man. We got a great day ahead of us. Dana White Contender Series goes off tonight as well, but we are here for MLB. We got player props, sides, totals, trends, angles, cash flow splits, back and forth banter. We'll probably have some debates. Maybe we'll start with a debate right off the top, Shark. What do you think?
Seems to be unplanned, yet the pattern of the show. But, honestly, guys, we never plan this stuff. This is not actually a cross debate that we script before the show, which is actually kind of the beauty of the show and the fun of it. But, guys, this is the last Tuesday of August, believe it or not. Next Tuesday, it will be September the 1st. So if you guys are in the summer, we know it's hot. It's been a long grind. Brighter days are coming, and today is a beautiful day. If you guys are on the East Coast, get to your lunch hour, get in the chat and hang out with us. See our guys in the chat hanging out. Ryan Razor in the chat, getting ready to dominate some horses. And Jimmy Sports says bunch of potentially a back-to-back winning card. I think so. Good-looking card today. If you guys are on the West Coast, get that coffee and get ready to dominate. And let's get into the card on a suddenly not so casual August 25th, 2026. Big card on hand tonight. 15 games, 5 series openers, all evening baseball. And we're starting off where we began yesterday, going back to Miami. Red Sox Marlins game 2 of this series, loanDepot Park. Peyton Tolle on the bump at Trevor Phillips. Mike, you said it. The Alcantara version of the Marlins looked pretty good for 7 or 8 innings, and they melted it in the 9th. The Red Sox came away with a margin win. Now you get Tolle on the bump, Mike. Maybe a talent gap in this series. I'm not sure. What do you think about this one tonight?
Yeah, look, I talked about it yesterday, and I thought the bullpen advantage did lie there. But the problem I had is the Marlins, they just can't seem to generate runs, whether it be from Alcantara or really anybody else here. And, I talked to you guys about this yesterday. I'll have to go back and look at the overall numbers here, but my prediction here for the next couple of weeks overall, just kind of macro level capping, the American League has been so bland, so competitive, so even, that you're going to start to see these American League teams have to start pushing and making some adjustments to get after it. And that's pretty much what we saw yesterday in this series here. Boston held in there, even though they were in a bad travel spot. Hand it to them. They took down, probably the ace, if you will, for that Marlins squad. And, off of a road win, the American League East particularly, we've talked about this before. They play each other competitively, 500 across the season, but then they beat the snot out of everybody else outside of the division here. So I'm not inclined to want to back this Miami Marlins team here. The Red Sox continue to be dominant. They're on a 35-11 tear right now, so you can't disrespect that. Miami struggles against lefties, and Peyton Tolle is the ace. The thing about this too is he's got a fresh slate, Peyton Tolle. Nobody's seen this guy on this Miami team. So I started looking at this from the vein of I like the Red Sox, but I don't want to go out there and get pricey with these guys. The lefty starters dominate the Marlins because they're so putrid. They're 14-4 in their last 18 goes at it here. So I started looking at this one from the vein of the under here, and Home dogs, tight ranges do tend to go to the under. Totally on the road are unders, and that got me to the first 5 team total under 1.5 runs for the Miami Marlins. I also like that first 3 under as well. So I'm going to take Tole to keep him under 2 runs in the first 5 innings, and I like the scoreless first 3 innings for the Miami Marlins as well.
Yeah, I'm all over it, guys. I'm a Yankee fan, so this pains me to say, but this is a blowout coming tonight. Tole is going to shove. You're going to get a margin win. I'm going to give you guys the money line. You get $1.50. It's actually getting steamed down now. Syndicates, whoever's betting this, if you guys listen to the show, thank you so much. Keep betting the Marlins. Make it cheap for us. I see 4 runs coming by margin in this game tonight. And Mike, you're giving all the details. It's the league. It's the discrepancy. It's the competitive nature of the AL. It's a great point. I hadn't even considered that, but truthfully, the American League teams are really in the density of this playoff picture. They need all these games, and it's going to be a blowout here. And you're looking at Tole. His last start, it was last week. It was actually my birthday. It was Wednesday. We were on here. We gave you guys the Diamondbacks to beat this guy at Fenway Park. And I told you on that day it was spot-specific analysis for this guy. He's been awful at home in matinees at Fenway Park, interleague play, against the National League. He's now 0-3. So I was going back through this before. What does he do after he gets beat at home by the National League in a matinee? He's 2-0, both by margin. Home win against Baltimore, 8-1. Only road spot in this environment, 8-1 win on a Tuesday, July the 7th. Also a primetime road game at the White Sox and Noah Schultz. This is going to be a margin. It's going to be dominant. And you look at the Trevor Phillips situation here. Terrible home pitcher. Only 1 home start against the American League East. It was against the Rays. He got absolutely smacked by Drew Rasmussen, 6-0. Tampa was laying -143 in that game, Boston heavier. This is really not a complicated handicap, but the precision is there. When Tole gets beat at home, he will absolutely shove on the road. This is a banger, guys. Put multiple units on this spot. I love Boston tonight in this spot. Mike, any final comments or keeping it moving?
No, it makes sense. I'm with you. I think Boston goes out there and takes the old hammer and sickle out, the old CCCP days.
Yeah, and our guy in the chat says Marlins money line. That was at 12-10. It's 12-12 now. We maybe have a revised take, our guy in the chat. We're giving you guys the business here. But we appreciate you guys in the chat. If you guys in the chat, anybody in there, talk to us, guys. Only 5 people in here. We know we have hundreds of people. Say hello and give us your plays, give us your angles, and let's keep it moving. Next game of the card. Going back to Detroit tonight, 6:40, Comerica Park, Game 2 of this series, Rays-Tigers. Seymour at Job. Ultimately, we missed this one last night. We thought the Tigers would compete. They did not. They are cratering down here, Mike. Is this a continued crater down, or do they bounce back tonight?
Well, you go back to that AL East situation, and the Tigers need it here, of course. But, you know, the problem I had, I texted the boys last night. I said, as soon as I saw the fade guy was on the Tigers, I knew it was dead. And so I can't, what am I going to do? Cash out on a losing proposition? I held in there, and then it was 2-0 right away. And I was like, yep. So, we got a fade guy in baseball. Frankly, he's a very strong fade in a lot of sports out there. But that being said, Jackson Jobe does kind of find a way to fire, especially when he's on the out of division opponents out there. He's 7-1 if they haven't seen this guy on a regular basis. And guess what? That falls under Tampa Bay's opportunity here. Only one fella, Richie Palacios, I believe is how you say his name, has 1 at bat. That was pretty good for an off the cuff situation, I thought there. Palacios, but 1 at bat, no success against him. So again, this kind of feels like with Seymour, surprisingly, he's been one of the stronger guys for this Tampa Bay team. And we kind of talked about 2 or 3 games back, kind of getting him in that fade stretch out there. And, he did us right. He was fine with us in that spot. But I think Tampa, as much as I hate to say it, they were just lying dormant for a minute and a half out there for a couple of series. And the ERA is 4.7 for Seymour on the road, but his last 2 starts were L's. He was against the division, though. He had Baltimore, tough spot there. Had Toronto, tough spot there. He gave up 3 earned runs on both of them here. My thought is with Joe being able to go out there and beat down out of division opponents, the Tigers against lefties do seem to have a slight advantage, but I don't want to back those bats here. Tigers, if the game starts before 7 o'clock against the AL East specifically, guess what happens? They're lower scoring games. So I'll go back again. I'll fire off on another under here. Nice afternoon card here to start off. Under but under 7.5. The Rays on the road against the AL Central, and you got the Tigers. The Tigers playing the AL East. They're both under trends, so they're pretty much intersecting to a lower scoring game. And what we've seen by the numbers on top of that here is, well, there's really a lackluster effect of love on the side here, but the total's getting pounded to the over. 76% of the bets, 78% of the cash are looking for runs, and it's not moved. It's sitting at 7.5. In fact, if you like that over with all the public on there, you can get it at even money right now. So that's a flag to me. That's a red flag to me. Some would say a red X to me. I'm going to take the under 7.5 in this game. Expect a lower scoring affair.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me. We don't have a lot of matchup data here. Job is in his fourth start of the year. He has not faced the Rays really in any capacity. Seymour did log a couple innings against the Tigers on Tuesday, June 2nd as a reliever. So it doesn't really apply to what we're looking at here. That all being said, I do think the Rays win this game again. And you look at Seymour in terms of his dispersion as a starter. He became a full-time starter here in mid-June. He is actually 4-0 road outside of the division, 0-2 road in the division. Took a loss at Toronto and at Boston, wins at Seattle, Colorado, and I think specifically for this one, at Kansas City in this division. And I'm just looking at that line now. It was a weeknight game, it appears. He was laying about the same figure, minus 126 against Stephen Kolek. Yeah, the Rays are going to win this game, guys. And somebody's talking about Seymour being scratched, Legumina. Truthfully, Legumina, I believe, is usually an opener for Seymour, if that's the case. You know, the Rays obviously were, I think, the team that started the whole opener thing going back about a decade ago. They're kind of the advanced metric team of baseball dating back 15 years. But I'm still working on this game, but just going through it as we're speaking on it. I think the Tigers are cratering down, and I think Seymour has that polarization. Great by pitcher, road out of division. Mike, one final point. I was thinking about this before. You know, when you saw how bad the Tigers were in the beginning of the season, it was a long journey of misery, if we're being honest. And they kind of found it for a little bit, but here they are cratering again. And it's reminded me of like a struggling addict who like finds it for like 2 weeks and then they fall off the cliff again. Like they don't come back. They're back to who they were all season. So I honestly, guys, hate to correlate that for to the Detroit people here, but I think they're falling apart again. I think rehab might be needed next week, Mike. Any thoughts?
Feels like a 3-1-3 thing here. The rehab capital of the Midwest. The Mueller says the Rays money line razor sharp coming though with the Tigers money line here. A house divided, boys. 9 Legacy thinks the Tigers today in the zigzag, and then Tampa will take it back tomorrow. So gonna be fun. Robert McCormick says just sharing the alert that he got. It says he's resting. We'll see how this plays out there, but so far, I mean, certainly wouldn't surprise me. But you know, I still think that the reality for this one is the opportunity for at least Job to go out there and hold it down. And, you know, like I said, I'm not really side driven in this game here. I just like this one being low scoring. It doesn't matter unless they put me out there, and I haven't gotten the call yet. I still think whoever it goes out there can lock down a suspect Detroit Tigers offense. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out there. It's early afternoon or before 7 p.m. baseball. Anything can happen. Those early games are just such a fucking crapshoot here, but let's rock, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, if you guys have Detroit Razor in there, watch out, dude. I don't know. The ambulance might be coming late for your team here, but we will see, and we'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, we're going back to Washington, D.C. tonight. Game 2 of this series, Rockies-Nats. Looking like a guy making his Major League debut on the bump, actually, for the Rockies tonight. Mitch Adams, I believe is the name, against Andy Alvarez. Mason Adams, guys. What a name. Kid from Davenport, Iowa, 26-year-old right-hander. Looks like he was acquired from the White Sox at the trade deadline in the Brenton Doyle trade. He's been in the minor leagues for 3 starts. Looking pretty good here, Mike. Anyway, you tried to back the Rockies last night. It was the dog of the day. Great video on X. I like the music. I like the graphics. We didn't like the result, but can the Rockies bounce back tonight?
No, man, when people kiss of death me, it's like, fuck. You know, I get people reaching out before the games are over, and it's like, all right. And then literally within minutes, bang, it's back over on the other side of things here. But I hear Davenport. I think, well, I've got a map, and you're really smart, and I don't see it. I'm digging the sarcasm. You should be. I'm laying it on pretty thick. If you guys know the movie, that's not one I often get to shout out. But look, I'm going to go back to the Rockies in this game. I hate it. I really don't like it, period. But I don't like the Nats. My numbers, my metrics, my rankings tell me that this Nats team is washed. And where the hell did that explosion of opportunity come from yesterday? You got to show it to me twice here. I could see runs coming down in this game here just because of, kind of the pitching matchup as it's related here. But surprisingly, as a lefty's concerned, the top of the order has had some success here against Alvarez. So Alvarez is struggling a little bit here. He's got that 2.5. He does have 74 strikeouts and only 36 walks. So I like that K to strikeout ratio, but I'm on Rockies or nothing for me again in this game here. And maybe I'm just trying to exact my revenge from that plus 188 loss yesterday here, but not my favorite. And again, it's in that pre 7 p.m. slot. So probably what happens is the Rockies come out early again, and then right around 7:15, as it turns to the witching hour for those afternoon or evening baseball games here, the Nats come back and fire. So maybe you can catch a live bet for the Nationals after they're down 2-0 before 7:15. Write that exact spot down. 7:15 p.m. Rockies are up maybe 2-0, and you catch the Nationals at a plus money price. Let's see what happens. That's a breakdown right there, Shark.
Yeah, it is, Mike. And here's a little shirt breakdown. What color is this shirt?
It's a little, is that blue?
It's bluish purple. Is that the Nats color? No, I don't have a hat. I have a shirt. The buy shirt is engaged. Taking the Rockies in this game, guys. No, this is a great spot, Mike. And, when I was looking at it yesterday, after the fact, I was thinking to myself, the Nats have one thing going for them, and it is Cade Cavalli. He wins for them, and they lose every other game, basically. In this small window, we're looking back in the last 2 months plus here, Cavalli is 7-1 last 8. And I've been on record numerous times backing this guy. So when we actually kind of talked Rockies yesterday, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, Cavalli is on the bump. This might be maybe a little off grid from what we're saying. This is where the Nats do not back up success in the game following a Cavalli win. They're 1-5 last 6 in the game after Cavalli wins a game. So that is your situation tonight. Not only that, this guy Mason Adams is replacing Kyle Freeland. And Kyle Freeland actually faced off against Andrew Alvarez in the previous series at Coors Field. Here's your line functionality. Alvarez caught a win on the road, 7-3. Washington was favored there, minus 140. Guys, if Alvarez is 140 on the road against a veteran Freeland and he wins by 4, he should be favored 180 here. This is shorter. What's going on here? This is where Colorado is also zigzagging second half in the beginning of road series outside of the division. Just in this small window post All-Star break, this is your third road series for the Rockies outside of the division. They have split game 1 and game 2 in the previous 2. You will see a split here tonight. And final point on this, Mike, I had to be reminded of this when I was going through the Cavalli angle. The Nats are not trying to win games. When you trade Foster Griffin, Luis Garcia to the Yankees of all teams, and you sit down Abrams and Wood, this lineup really is like a AAA lineup. They've done nothing. They look dead until last night. This is where they're going to get absolutely smoked tonight. I think the Rockies could actually cover this one and cover the run line. It's a great spot. Guys, the buy shirt is engaged. Giving you guys all the details here. MLB bases loaded. Guys, we got a like video. Mike, drop it.
A friendly reminder, you guys, if you like the content here, we ask you to drop a thumbs up, show a little support for the squad, help us continue to let them know we're here doing this thing. And a shout out to the membership opportunity here, Sports Money Network. We've added more tools to the arsenal of information that we're sharing with the Sports Money Network members out there. Super low, inexpensive to get you guys in the game out there, releasing top 5 home run props from the dashboard of the day out there. We've got exclusive UFC members only content on the weekend. So lots of things happening to try to, show a little love to those that support us. But best thing you could do for us here, most important thing is hit that like button, throw a comment out there, and let's get after it, guys. Let's get about this big game that's coming up, Shark.
Yeah, I'm talking about Luis Garcia getting traded to the Yankees. What a beautiful segue. Next game on the card, we're going to Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees are opening up a midweek series here against the Astros. Longtime rival Astros, different environment, 2026, different manager. They announced yesterday this guy's not coming back next year. Talk about a lame duck, Mike. Interesting spot here, however. Ethan Pecco making his major league debut against Will Warren. What's going on here?
I want to fade the Yankees, but this price tag is right around, once it's over 138, now I start to see like, okay, they're kind of telling us a little bit here. And, the thing about this one for me is you've got guys like Yordan Alvarez, you've got guys like Ben Rice. I mean, they're both graded super high today to go out there and generate results. It's funny because yesterday, the Minnesota Twins did get the win, but I was like, man, the dashboard showing like 4 dudes on the Twins are all high likelihood to hit home run. None of them got him yesterday. But today, a couple of spread around the board situations here. And the thing about this one is Willie Warren. And when Willie Warren's getting a start out there, the early series starts, he's got himself a nice little overrunning record. And so when I kind of put those two together, I try to compare like the DFS numbers. I don't do a lot with the DFS anymore, but try to compare those tools that I have out there and try to figure out Willie Warren, game 1 or 2 of a series. If he's not a huge favorite at home, right, a minus 180 or bigger, he's 10-1-1 to the over. And so the Astros bats, they're due to break back out at this point here. Now the 9 has come down to 8.5. So the overnight number is sitting at 9. We see 8.5, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with the over. I'm going to go with runs here. Yankee Stadium, 7:05 start, some normalcy once we get past that 6:45 situation. And Pecco, look, 4.91 ERA for this guy. I mean, what do we know? We know that he gives up runs. And if he's going to give up runs and Will Warren likes to give up runs, then I like to be in an 8.5 position. So, for me, it was really a situation in saying, let's just try to stay away from some of these teams with the lunacy that can take place here. But for what it's worth, this guy has been in the barn for the Astros. So he's not like some random scrub they drafted him in the 6th round. Went to Towson. We know that Towson's bad at everything, including college basketball, but, I think he can give us some runs here. I think we have some predictability with this over 8.5.
Yeah, I agree. I've been trying to fight the Yankees for weeks. Can we get it right for once? The buy hat is engaged. And, you talk about this situation. This is really a great spot for the Astros. They just lost back-to-back games over the weekend. We detailed this yesterday against the Athletics, blowing a 6-run lead on Sunday in absolutely egregious form. I think they got a day to reset. And I think psychologically, maybe they just let down, thinking they were up huge in that game pre-travel to the Yankees. As I mentioned, this is their biggest rival outside of their division in the American League going back to 2015. You guys have to remember, these teams were facing off in the playoffs almost every year. It was arch nemesis 1 and 1A versus each other. It's a huge series for the Astros, huge bounce back. And this psychological angle involving the manager, they canned the GM. And they told the manager, listen, we're not bringing you back next year. You can leave right now. And he said, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to work with these guys. And for me, that's a strong point in this handicap, actually, because a lot of guys would have said, you're not bringing me back next year. F you guys, I'm out. He wants to finish the job. And I think finishing the job starts tonight. This division is wide open for business. We've detailed this every day. They're very much alive in the West, not so much the wild card. This is the division for the Astros, although the wild card is still in reach as well. And you go to the Yankees side of this game, this is where you want to fade Will Warren. Will Warren has been absolutely terrible at Yankee Stadium this month and against the American League West. This month at home, 8 earned runs in 9 1/3 innings pitched. Against the American League West at home over the entire duration of this season, 16 1/3 innings pitched, 13 earned runs. And you talk about revenge angles here. Circle on the calendar. Warren actually got the Astros in Houston against Lance McCullers on a Friday in April 24th, 12-4. He wasn't great in the matchup, but here's your line functionality again. He was actually favored on the road, minus 160 against Lance McCullers. Guys, do the math with me. 160 road. You come home, should come up against a rookie pitcher. It's the same exact conversation we just had with the Rockies game. And final point on this rookie pitcher, Mike, as you detailed, Towson product. You said they don't do anything right. I'll give them one thing. They have a great bar scene in Baltimore, beautiful women. Shout out to you guys down there. But this guy actually will show up tonight for multiple reasons. One, he went to high school in the Philly region, so he's going to have family in the crowd. This is actually a big spot for this guy. He'll feel at home at Yankee Stadium. Definitely 20-plus people in the stands for this guy's camp. And I couldn't believe this when I was handicapping it before. Today is his 24th birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh,
birthday gift to you, a win in Yankee Stadium. That's all I got for this one, guys. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Astros and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here.
Jack, it sounds like, is it fair to say that there's a strong work ethic and level of commitment when it comes to executing the strategy for that Astros general manager?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, the guy's out the door, so I mean, we don't know.
But he's sticking around. I mean, that's a guy that's committed, right?
Not the GM, the actual manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's sticking around too, right? So he's committed.
The GM is gone. He's on a beach somewhere right now having a margarita.
That was as of what, Sunday night, Monday morning, right? So now they said the manager's gone too. But he's choosing to stay.
Manager was supposed to pretty much, I think, resign when they said you're not coming back, and he said no. So watch the Astros go on a run now with this guy and like win the World Series, and they'll be like, "You were going to fire my ass." I'm telling you, it's a high motivation spot, guys. Great spot for the Astros. Take it and let's cash. Keeping it moving here. A couple more games in the early window here. Going north of the border. Blue Jays Royals series opener tonight in Toronto. 7:07 in the sixth on a Tuesday night. Seth Lugo at Max Scherzer. This is the first game of the year between these teams. They do play 2 series in the next week and a half. You're going to get a lot of commentary on Royals Blue Jays in the next 2 weeks, guys. That all being said, the Royals are the hottest team in the American League, Mike. They've won 8 in a row. Can they keep it going tonight?
Yeah, I got to the Royals without seeing that they were 9-1 in their last 10. And then I saw that and I was like, whoa, hey, guess what? The dog opening a series against a weaker team goes on fire. They've cashed. They win continually. They've done it 7 times. And this is what it comes down to. This is a pretty unique one, right? The total's less than a 9.5. The team's a dog. It's the first game of a series, and they're on an 8-game win streak. Well, guess what? As random as that doesn't happen very often in 22 seasons, they're 7-0 when it happens, and that's the Royals. And you got Mad Max on the other side. You got that below -138 number for Toronto. I love this Royals spot here. I thought the Royals' first 5 was probably one of the best bets on the card tonight. Just to try to nullify that bullpen situation, because I've told you about it before. The bullpen for the Kansas City Royals leaves a lot to be desired. Look, guys like Salvador Perez have been on fire. That guy's popped home runs. He had home run streak going for like 7-7 or something crazy like that here. So, yeah, all the money's coming in on Toronto. They need it. This team on the other side is bad, but look, Lugo, he's got a better ERA rolling right now here. You can catch a +100 for Kansas City first 5. And I do think we see runs in this game. So I think this is a great one of those hitting matchups here. You got a guy like Perez. You take a guy like, Bobby Witt. You take guys like Vladdy Guerrero. You probably parlay all 3 of those guys to catch a hit for some plus money out there. I think that's another great way to play this game. So I think there's a lot of access here. And Kansas City first 5, Kansas City full game makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, it's all colliding together tonight, Mike. We're seeing it clearly. The buy hat is engaged. Make it royal across the border, guys. Big spot here for me. And what you're looking at here, great stuff, Mike, delivering the goods as always. But I found some stats, and I want to read you guys this one. This is very standout for me. The Royals are the first team since the '89 White Sox to win 8 straight games after entering the streak 24 games below 500. The only AL team to continue that streak to 9, having been 24 under 500 prior, was the 1910 White Sox. It's been 116 years since this happened, and it's going to happen tonight. We've been the White Sox whisperers all year. It was the 1910 White Sox. It's going to be your 2026 Royals. Dub 9 coming. And what does that mean from that data to the actual psychology? It's very precise. When a team is that far below 500 and then they win 8, notice it hasn't happened since 1989 and prior 1910. It's talking about a team that's actually very good, that's sustainably underachieved. So when you get to that point when you're going up, this is where the significant sustained cluster goes north. And I had to remind myself this team was in the playoffs 2 years ago. So this is a very talented team, and they're honestly better now than they were then. Bobby Witt Jr. is elite. Some of these young players, Pasquantino, Caglianone, I thought it was Mama's Kitchen here. They're running the chicken parm down the line in Kansas City. But these guys are performing at an extremely high rate. And just within the matchup, Scherzer at home is 1-6, 8.33 ERA. And the last time he faced Kansas City last year in September, he didn't make it out of the first inning. 7 earned runs on 45 pitches. Perez took him deep in the game. And ultimately, Kansas City won the game 20-1. Kansas City is currently the best buy team in the sport. They're actually only 8 games back in the wild card. Guys, this is not fool's gold. We're telling you a dead honest psychological story. The Kansas City Royals think they can make the playoffs. They know they can win about 80% of their games going forward and backdoor. We've seen crazier things happen. Actually, when the Washington Nationals won the championship in 2019, they were in a very similar position, and they went on an absolutely scorching rock heater to win and get into the playoffs and eventually won the championship. So this is not fake stuff, guys. The Royals are currently the best buy team in the sport. Absolutely final point on this. Toronto just played 13 straight divisional games. Played the Red Sox, Yankees twice, and the Blue Jays. Excuse me, and the Rays. It's a terrible spot for Toronto tonight. Take the Royals and let's cash. Mike, you just heard it here first. The Royals are going to win the World Series. Crazy.
No way Kansas City makes the fucking wild card, dude. They're 8 games behind. They got Toronto, who's battling right now. So if Toronto gets in, they're out. They got Arizona. Then they got Boston at Boston. That team's absolutely due to rebound. They're still a sub 500 home team, as hot as Boston's. But then they got the Astros. They got that's a 3-series road trip against Pittsburgh, who's still battling out there for who knows what. They finish off with White Sox and then Cleve. Those are all playoff teams. There's no way Kansas City makes the playoffs. Stop it.
I honestly, I don't have it in front of me, but I really want to look back on the Nats in 2019 and see what their record was at this point in the season. Because I remember it was like historically wild. They looked horrible, and then they just won almost every single game and just went away and won the title. But that was
because they had Philly's third favorite son, right?
Well, they actually had Scherzer on that team. They had Juan Soto. They had Rendon, a couple other guys. But who else was on that team? A couple good pitchers.
Was that a Bryce Harper team?
Harper, Strasburg, yeah.
Philly's third favorite son. You know, it goes Ben Franklin, Jalen Hurts, and then Bryce Harper. Speaking of guys that are due to hit balls tonight.
Yeah. No, I'm actually really curious to pull this up. I actually want to look at
baseball trivia for you guys in the middle of an afternoon. A suddenly not so casual baseball trivia filled Tuesday, you guys.
2019 Nats. There was something going on. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But we will keep it moving. Next game of the card, going back to New York City tonight. 2 big games in New York. Second one in Queens. Brewers Mets series opener. Kyle Harrison at Zach Thornton. Thornton actually caught a dub against the Brewers before. I was a little surprised to see that, Mike. We know the Mets are coming. They're the bye team situationally. Can they get the Brewers tonight?
I struggled with this game because I want to back Milwaukee, and they're pretty confident, road favorite here. Plus, you got Harrison. I mean, all the makings of things going right, but doesn't it just kind of sort of feel like Chase Burns last night's situation? Just sort of like when I was looking at it, I was thinking about kind of what's the prototype for this game right now. And yeah, that's exactly what it felt like to me. And what do we see happen? They got blanked. They got shut down. So Milwaukee has been arguably the hottest team in baseball this year. And Zach Thornton on the other side of things, he's holding it down with a 3 ERA. So you can't be mad at that. He's got a 1.15 whip. So he's not real. I mean, he's getting guys on base, but this is a pitcher's duel. And Harrison and Thornton, well, lefty on lefties, a couple of years ago, those things were like automatic unders for me. I like the under again. But I like the Mets not being able to score too many runs early. So I went Mets first 5 team total under 1.5 runs at -110. Another one of them sneaky little spots where I don't necessarily want to get involved in the sides. I just want to see that the bats stay cool, and maybe the Mets do come down the stretch and win this game here. But I'll take a lower scoring game, and specifically the Mets in the first 5 to struggle.
Yeah, it's a tough game for me. As I mentioned, Thornton did win a road game at Milwaukee 4-0. The books have accelerated the line towards Milwaukee here, but I'm not sure it matters. Kyle Harrison is just getting blue chip numbers on the road right now, and he's not performing at all. If you actually look at this guy, he's been getting rocked on the road, like really sustainably. You talk about Chase Burns last night. Burns had not gotten rocked on the road, crazily enough. That was really kind of a funky spot. We did not expect that, but Harrison has shown this already at least 5 times this year. Really high-level labor and not good labor on the road. I mean, really like struggling to get out of the 4th inning type of stuff. So the Mets are scrappy, and I think Thornton could compete here. If you guys want to kind of just get grimy with it, the Mets could win this game. I don't like fading the Brewers in any capacity. Just even if Harrison stinks up the joint, they could somehow backdoor it. They're very good, obviously. Best record in the league right now. But just a point on that. This is a scrappy spot for the Mets. Don't have anything officially on it. Great conversation. If you guys are at the stadium in Queens, Guys, Tuesday in the summer at Queens. Enjoy your life. It's New York City. It's intense. It's hot. Smile. It's fun. It's baseball. Enjoy. And
nobody's going to that stadium tonight
because they're angry. I'm saying enjoy. If you say
300 people,
it's going to
buy
be
yourself
fun.
a 300 level ticket or standing room only, and then by that second inning, sneak yourself right down that first baseline.
Hey, you can make anything fun if you categorize it correctly in your mind. You say, "I'm going to a professional baseball game in New York. It's fun. Enjoy, and let's keep it moving." Next game on the card. Big dog stuff tonight. TBS national game for good reason. Truist Park in Atlanta, 7:15. Dodgers-Braves Series 2. Playoff preview series here, 100%. Big dog stuff. Glass now at Elder. Mike, we introed the show with it, and I'll ask you the question again. Can the Dodgers avoid the trap, or is this a Brave spot?
That is the question at hand here, man. Boy, it'd have to be Dodgers or nothing. So the problem I have with this game, and so I'll tell you where I'm going to end up. I'm going to end up on the under. Bryce Elder's kind of shit the bed recently. He hasn't been of form. And Tyler Glasnow's coming back from injury. So those two reasons alone on the surface, you should say, well, this game's going to go sail over the number. We have an 8.5, so we're underneath that key number of 9. And we're at the number 1 under ballpark. So you love your Rockies, and I love the unders in Colorado. That one's been cashing like crazy for us. I love the unders in Atlanta. That's been cashing like crazy for me as well. So I just think that the problem with that pitching situation is Glasnow's got to come out there and perform and not look like a piece of shit coming back from injury, as we've seen. Sure, how many guys this season have done that? Every single one of them's come back that first game, and it's been like an auto fade. So Thomas Maggio says Glasnow only going 5 innings, probably. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to go with that under 8.5 in this game here. I don't think either team's going to go out there, start this series off, and blow the scoreboard out the park here. I think this is one of those lower scoring affairs here. Maybe it gets ugly early, and then the bullpen's kind of tighten it up late here. But I'll go with the under 8.5.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a tough game. Crazily enough, we love the series, we love the entertainment of this. You don't really know what's going to happen here with Glasnow.
Right.
He could honestly look either way. We have seen some of these guys come back and look good, and then others just look terrible. So for me, it's kind of a blind toss. Elder will not pitch well in this game, in my opinion. He does not have great matchup data. He has been inconsistent. He did pitch out west at the Dodgers earlier this year. I'm just looking now. I had kind of omitted this game. I believe he got rocked. No, he did not get rocked. Excuse me. He actually beat the Dodgers 7-2. Uninformed capping from the Shark never happens, but when I see the Dodgers with a pitcher like Glasnow, I honestly kind of omitted it. That all being said, tough game for me, Mike. What did you say was the official play?
Yeah, I like the under, and it's plus 108. So here's the thing. When I talk about this stadium here, particularly the Braves, the last 2 seasons at home, they're 132 and 83 to the under. 61.5% win rate, but they've amassed almost 41 units of banging away on the under. So again, surface says over. Braves against the National League opponents to the under have cashed at a 64%. So the needle's starting to move even further. And then specifically, after an under at home, they move up to 75% to the under. So we need these pitchers to come out there and do their thing here. But I think this under 8.5 at plus 108 is a really pricey, a really nice spot to get yourself a nice ROI.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that game. That was a Robleski start, and Robleski gave up 7 earned runs in the game. Yeah, interesting stuff here. Elder's very inconsistent at home. If you guys go through his game log, he either gives up 1 earned run or he gets absolutely rocked. He got lit against Milwaukee for 8 earned runs. Tough game. It's going to be entertaining, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 7:40 window. Going back to the south side of Chicago tonight, Wright Field, Rangers, White Sox game 2. Great pitching matchup here. Jacob deGrom on the bump. Just got his 2,000th career strikeout in the previous game. What a living legend this guy is. Anthony Kay, I wouldn't call him a living legend, but I would call him an upstart pitcher from the New York area. Anthony, what's up, my guy? That all being said, Mike, nice call last night. Rangers, absolute hammer. Can the White Sox bounce back tonight?
All right, so remember the situation. That was and we talked specifically, this is where a counterpoint came into play, because the Rangers leaving home, starting a new series on a Monday, go out there and fuck. And now they're 7-1. And fuck it, they did last night. What'd they win by? 100 runs? 110 runs? Are they still playing? I'm not sure what happened out there. And the favorite, after scoring a bunch of runs, has cashed at a 59% rate. So despite the blown load theory here, somehow it still reigns true out there. So the bottom line for me, and I can trend it out the wazoo for you guys here, but bottom line, the White Sox don't have experience and they don't have the depth. Texas Rangers are pushing for a playoff spot. Houston's in flux. Seattle just won. The heat is on the Rangers. They're going to dump the truck in this series here, and they go out and win this game.
I wouldn't disagree. Tough game for me, honestly. When I was looking at the line number, oscillating at open, not necessarily market, but open.
You love that word. You love that word.
There's three matchups. I do. I mean, I did know it, of course. I've been studying the dictionary since the mid '80s. When I was born, my mom said, you came out of the womb, you had the dictionary open, learning words. And but that all being said, I knew the word, but I had never applied it. So great usage, Mike. And I'm going to flip it to the open. This is not market movement. This is market open from the previous matchup. These guys both do have matchup data against this opponent. Not great for DeGrom, actually. He took a margin win at home against the White Sox in a previous series. K did win on the road, which is interesting for me. Is K going to be able to do it twice? Will DeGrom get revenge? If you look at DeGrom's game log, he's been awful on the road in the division for the last 2.5 seasons. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but really not even of his quality remotely. He does pitch better outside of the division. I'm giving you guys a lot of data and kind of just chatter on this. I don't really have an angle in this game, Mike. If you like Texas, I like Texas. I think DeGrom will at least have revenge on his mind after getting hammered at home against the White Sox. Mike likes the Rangers. I am not on this game as of now. And we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 7:45 in St. Louis. Bunch of game twos. Game one here, series opener on a Tuesday night, Busch Stadium, Orioles-Cardinals. Not only a series opener, but a one-off interleague series. These teams have not played all season, and these pitchers have very limited matchup data. Chris Bassett didn't play for the Orioles last year, and Liberatore, not much here, Mike. That all being said, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I'll fade the Bassett down and go with the Cardinals. It's a cheap price. Not a big Baltimore fan. AL East of the teams out there, I think they're lower on the spectrum, if you will, from the entirety of the process. So they do like to win game one, them Baltimore Orioles here. Series openers, they've been clipping at about a 60% rate over the last 5 seasons. But that being said, look, Bassett, he doesn't have my vote of confidence, Shark. I can't get there with this guy. When you've got two teams that have the same amount of rest, coming off a loss, you take the favorite. You've cashed 15 straight times here. It's a Cardinal spot for me.
Completely agreed. The buy hat is engaged. Great spot here. Absolutely great spot. And Mike, when I was looking at this, I have written down here, Bassett is notoriously awful on the road. And that is not just this year. I had to remember last year with the Blue Jays, same conversation. This guy's great at home wherever he pitches. He just doesn't figure it out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's one of those guys that doesn't like getting on planes. Maybe he has to have 4 vodka tonics before he gets on the plane and he's hung over on his starts. But he is just abysmal. And this year alone at the National League, these numbers are flat out abominable. 11 innings pitched, 18 hits, 6 walks, 14 earned runs. He is going to get rocked in this game. And it's also just a great spot to fade the Orioles. We told you we wanted to fade the Blue Jays off a cluster of games in the division. Same thing with the Orioles. The Orioles are coming off of 10 straight divisional games, 7 against Tampa, 3 against the Yankees. This is a trap. It's a letdown. It's interleague. It's not motivated. And now they go to St. Louis and they get Liberatore in a buy spot. He's lost 3 straight games. At no point this season has Liberatore lost more than 3 games. This is his bounce back spot. And he actually does have good home numbers against the American League East. Only one start. It was against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a better ball club than the Orioles. He beat the Rays 9-7. He was good in the game. Only 1 earned run in 5 innings. Limited pitch count, under 80. It was the opening start of the season, actually, back in March. He'll be locked in. He's ready to go. He pitches well at home generally. And this is where the market cap is on this guy to excel and go north off a 3-game losing streak. And absolutely final point on this. This is zigzag. You guys saw this over the weekend. We talked about it yesterday. The last game the Cardinals played, it was Sunday in Philly. Kyle Schwarber said, not today in Philly. They've lost 3 straight, coming home off a sweep. It's a bye team. They have not lost 4 in a row in over a month and a half. Great spot here, guys. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Cardinals and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. Next game on the card, we're going the late night card. As we told you guys yesterday, lots of late games in this early week cluster. All game twos. and we are going back to Angel Stadium. Last night we told you Parker Messick might not pitch great. We were wrong. We didn't give anything officially for that reason. I was a little wary of that spot. But Gavin Williams at Walbert Urania. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I had that first 5 under there with this Angels team out there, just because you can't really count on these guys to put runs on the board. And they had that big explosion in their series against the Astros, and respect it. But, they're fade in game 2 of a series. Gavin Williams' strikeout numbers are just incredibly inflated today. I mean, we're looking at 7.5 and laying juice. So I never like to be in those spots here. But based on that theory and looking at this Angels team being kind of suspect here, Urania does go out there and shove it home. If you look at this guy, second half of the season, game 40 or on this year particularly, he's been amassing wins. He's got a 7-2 record here in the back half of baseball. So that kind of leads me back to that first 5 under again here. I like both teams to kind of come out there and just do enough to get by here. Cleveland, weird price here at -138. I mean, you probably get the Guardians. You're probably getting them really cheap here, but at the end of the day, for me, I'll just go back to the under again here. Under 3.5 is a -104 in this here, even a +100 over at Caesars. I think it's priced that way for a reason.
Yeah, this is a tough game. I know a lot of sharp handicappers love this guy, Walbert Urania, and they like him for good reason. He's very upstart. The issue here is you're not necessarily handicapping this guy's efficiency on the mound. It's can they win a game for him? They do win for him, if we're being honest, at home. He is 3-1 last 4. He did pitch at Cleveland on Tuesday, May 12th. Pitched well in the game. Only 2 earned runs in 5 innings, 91 pitches, slightly high pitch count. But again, his good result did not amount to a win. So the conflation here is this guy can pitch well, doesn't translate to you cashing your ticket. So I think the Guardians will win this game ultimately. I think the Guardians are in flow. They're smashing these bad teams on this road trip. They swept the Rockies, no problem. Last night, again, they didn't really perform that great, but they still covered the run line. I think there's a class difference in this game, guys. I think the Guardians will win this game, but I don't think it's due to the fact that Walbert will pitch poorly. Guardians are nothing, not a big play at all, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, 9:40 in Arizona tonight. Cubs Diamondbacks game 2, Chase Field. Clay Holmes at Brandon Pfaadt. Mike, I nailed this one last night after the show. I got to the Cubs and I got to the under. Both cashed, and it was really pure living. 7-0 Cubs. Thank you very much. We do it again tonight, Mike. Can the D-backs bounce back?
Yeah, I got to look at this game a little bit more because for me, I wanted to team off a shutout. I told you guys that's been profitable. The problem is the Cubs are a profitable team on Tuesdays against a team they beat the snot out of this year. They're 19-4, so they're a great bounce back team off a loss. And I could see fading Pfaadt here. That guy's been talking about the market cap with this guy. They do rebound. Home in series game 2 or later. We talk about the Cubs being a rebound spot. They're 46-25 over the last 2 seasons. So a little tricky tail of the tape to be read here. So I'm going to defer to you here, but kind of lean to the Diamondbacks to pop back here and get that home revenge.
I think you were onto the right side of this before you kind of hedged in your final comment there. I think the Cubs win this game. I'm going to give you guys the Cubs in this game. And it's very similar to what we said last night about Gausman. And you guys have to remember, this Cubs staff is largely rebooted at the deadline due to injuries. Gausman, Peterson, Holmes, all acquisitions. That wasn't the plan. I had to remind myself of this going back last week. Guys, you remember names like Cade Horton, Justin Steele? Those were the guys that were supposed to be headlining this rotation. Young pitchers. Needless to say, the cap last night gained its strength because Gausman had pitched great in this stadium while on the Blue Jays. So not all handicaps are this good, but Clay Holmes, when he pitched for the Mets, did pitch great in this stadium on Saturday, May 9th. 5 2/3, only 2 earned runs. Limited base runners, did take a loss 2-1. That was the Mets. That's not the Cubs. The Mets couldn't score. The Cubs can score. And I think Brandon Pfaadt is honestly market cap, like you said, Mike. I think that was really the strong point here. This guy's been running real hot since he came back into the rotation in late June. But his last start at Boston, he started to show signs of a guy we've known in recent years. Home runs against 3 home runs, 5 earned runs. He caught a win. We had the ticket. It was the game against Peyton Tolle we told you about earlier in the show. but I think he comes back here. I think he will struggle tonight. Strong point for the Cubs, Mike. We talked about it yesterday. They're one of the best buy teams in the sport. They have a great manager, great lineup, incredible camaraderie, incredible dynamic in the locker room between ex-champion veteran guys like Bregman and young upstart professionals like PCA. The Cubs might be the second best buy team in the sport right now. I think they will take care of business tonight. Take the Cubs and let's cash. Mike, any further thoughts?
The problem I have with the Cubs in this spot, though, when it comes to Fott and being potentially market capped, is literally Fott is stuffing the Cubs team. And it's not just once, twice, 3 times. The guy's fucking shut him down like 5 straight times he's played him. So PCA, young upstart, 6 at-bats, no hits. Suzuki, 12 at-bats, 1 hit for an 0.83. Surprisingly, he's leading the team. That's a bad spot to be when you're expecting probably an under upon further review for this game. How about that? Can I get you on the under 8.5?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, last night we saw a 9 go under. Now they move it down. I could see a tight game here. I think, as I said, Holmes, very similar conversation to Gausman. Already good matchup data with a different team in this stadium. He will be ready to go. That all being said, Fott did actually catch a relief appearance at Wrigley earlier this year in a Merrill Kelly start. I don't know what the Diamondbacks are doing with this guy, to be honest with you. They move him around so much, but I don't know. I'm on the Cubs, and that is that. Let's keep it moving. 9:40 in Sacramento, Game 2 of this series. Twins-A's at Sutter Health Park. Taj Bradley on the bump at Gage Jump. Mike, the Trump Taj Mahal was an Atlantic City staple. It travels to Sacramento tonight. Has Sacramento seen a show like this since the 90s? I don't know. What's going on here?
Go back to the over again. I was telling you guys I like the over yesterday. I don't want to predict. I mean, look, all the pitchers or all the batters should have smacked the ball yesterday. They should have had home runs. It was Buxton. It was Jeffers. It was instead, it was just grinding out, picking up a win and doing it consistently because the A's are bad. I was on the Athletics. I thought they had a shot out there. 9-6. I mean, the game was a beatdown, but Minnesota stacks up wins in bunches here. They're not going to get my money with the late night slot, especially around a -150, but I think the over is a fair bet. You get the 10, get some good money on a 10. I think you can take an over there. I got a bunch of unders. I got a bunch of overs today. So I'm a mixed bag. I'm trying to fairly evenly distribute my totals across the board.
You know, you tried to buy the A's last night. I think that the A's could win this game. And ultimately, this for me is a great pattern with Gage Jump. He's coming off a road loss at Kansas City where he gave up 5 earned runs. The last time he had a road start where he gave up more than 5 earned runs, it was a start at Arizona on July 22nd. He came home for a home game out of the division against Boston. And he was a dog right in this range, right around +150. And he was great in the game, and Boston lost the game 4-3 with Jake Bennett on the bump. And if you look at Taj Bradley here, I'm making all sorts of jokes about the Trump Taj. For those of you guys in the chat, if you guys ever gambled in the 90s or 2000s in Atlantic City, say what's up to us. This is where Mike and I come from. My first gambling moments were in Atlantic City about 25 years ago. That all being said, this is where Bradley will struggle. You saw this guy struggle on the road bump at the Field of Dreams. He doesn't like funky parks. He likes comfortability. He likes pitching at home at Target Field. And I think ultimately the cap last night gained its strength from Zebby Matthews. It fails tonight with Taj on the bump. I think Jump will jump in this matchup tonight. Guys, I haven't gotten to the A's yet, but for me, this speaks to a bit of a zigzag. Looking towards the A's, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, 9:40 in Seattle. Phillies-Mariners game 2, Nola at Kirby. Absolute blowout last night. That was my worst handicap of the year. I was actually going through it before, and I thought to myself, that was literally a terrible handicap. Shout out to everybody who took the Mariners last night. I'm glad you guys cashed. Mike, we're doing it again tonight. What's going on here?
Yeah, we took the Mariners last night there. I told everybody about them Seattle Mariners here with a Phillies team that was a little overstretched, but I'll go back to Seattle again tonight. Playoff push on the line here. Fade the Phillies as dogs with a higher total. From the previous night there, this is one of them situations. 7.5 or higher is the higher total. And look at that game last night. 6.5. People would automatically, back in the day, Shaq, remember, it's the lowest total on the board. I'm going to take it under. Like, you got smoked in the 3rd inning. That thing was toast. So that was just a lazy cap for total wise in that situation out there. Now, it does beat Nola that comes back on the bump here, but Seattle at home's a different entity. And you got this wind blowing out as well. So I'm going to go with him. Like I told you guys, I think as far as hitting is concerned, right now, Bryce Harper has himself a great opportunity to go out there and be effective. So take a look for Bryce Harper to put some props on the board, but I'm going to go to Seattle.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I don't like buying Nola on the road at all. And I think that my biggest miss yesterday was the fact the Phillies were scorching hot, dub 9, traveling off a sweep and a high, this whole thing. And the Mariners are a buy team for sure. And truthfully, in terms of the handicap, the strongest point for me was actually Cal Raleigh hitting 3 home runs last night. I mean, if you're a Mariners fan and you're backing the Mariners financially, that is just your eyes wide open in joy. I mean, it's been a long time coming for this guy, and he finally looks like he's hitting the ball like last year, which is clearly very important for the Mariners. So I think that will continue. I think he's going to cluster. We talk about clusters every day on this show, whether it's players or teams. When guys are so terrible for so long and they start to find something, he's going to continue. So I'm happy for him. I actually didn't like to see him struggle like he did. So shout to Raleigh for finding it last night. Take the Mariners and let's cash. Keeping it moving here. Next game on the card, more late night baseball. Going back to Petco Park, San Diego, 9:40, 6:40 local. Big dog stuff, Mike. Paul Skeens on the road bump at Michael King. Ultimately, Skeens seemed like he was hanging out in Los Angeles over the weekend. Livy Dunn films her show in Los Angeles. He's from Fullerton. Is this home cooking? Is this comfortable? Or is this complacency? What are you doing with this game?
So I'm on record. You guys know maybe I invented the Paul Skeens fade. I don't know. I've been fading him for 2 seasons successfully in those spots out there. I'm also on record as being a Padres guy. So there's no question for me that this should be a Padres spot, right? Wrong. Paul Skeens on the road in a revenge spot, 3-0 in his seasons out there. So he does exact revenge. I'm going to take Paul Skeens. I can't believe I'm saying it. I got a smile on my face too. We're getting Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has been so fucking bad this year that you're getting Paul Skeens at a plus 113 right now. So I'm taking Paul Skeens. I also like the first 5 under 3.5 because I do know that with these 2 pitchers, they both do go to the under. So Paul Skeens, I told you about the revenge situation and shutting teams down. Padres have been losing here in recent form against righties. They just took an L. And then you look at this pitching matchup here, and Pirates game 2 unders. That's a thing. And not only is that a thing, but you're taking what was your number 1, who's now in the number 2, and you're putting him out there for an under trend that's been cashing at 60%. Paul Skeens on the road against good teams. The unders are 10-3, right? So we got Skeens looking to lock down the Padres offense. And then you got Michael King at home in night games. He's 8-1 to the under. So pitching specific. I think the problem that we've had with Skeen starts is he goes out there and just melts in the first inning and he's down fucking 4-1 right away. And it's like, all right, let's not do that again. So first 5 innings under 3.5, got a plus 104. And I like the Pirates to win the game. I think that's a sneaky little plus 113 spot there. I like them both. I think that's a double dipper for me.
Yeah, Mike, just to clarify, when you said revenge, he did actually beat the Padres at home in that previous series. And King also beat the Pirates. So both pitchers come in here off a win in the previous series. Pittsburgh 7-1, Skeens over Pavetta, and Padres 8-2, King over Keller. And that's my issue with this handicap. I think either pitcher could shove and either team could do whatever. And crazily enough, when I was looking at the card earlier, last night, the only game out of 10 that was not a margin game was the Padres game. And if you guys watched the show yesterday, we actually said to you on the show, that was the biggest coin flip game. It went 12 innings and the final score was 3-2. I think these teams are incredibly evenly matched. And you're seeing basically the same line structure tonight. Both teams are sitting here right in the range of minus 110 to 120. It's actually getting steamed towards the Padres, interestingly enough. That's all I have for this. I think this is a really tough series. I think tomorrow I probably won't have anything either. Really tough game, Mike. Any final comments?
Yeah, rematch. Did I say revenge? It's rematch. Yeah. Paul Skeens on the road against the team that they just played and they won. Rematch situation is the W. So we'll take it. We'll take Paul Skeens plus 113.
Yeah, truthfully, I'm just going to watch that game and enjoy. I'm more like fascinated by Skeens than anything. It's just very interesting for me to see a guy be so unbelievably dominant and then kind of fall apart a little bit. Like I'm actually more so just curious and going to do some research. So Mike likes the Pirates, and let's keep it moving. Final game on the card, going back to San Francisco tonight. Reds-Giants game 2 at Oracle Park. Brady Singer at Adrian Hauser. Mike, last night we missed that game. I missed that game. I was shocked, if I'm being honest, by that outcome last night. The Giants were coming across country. off a trip in Boston. And Chase Burns had been elite in every stadium, no matter where it was on the globe, it seemed. And he just came out and had absolutely nothing in the first 2 innings last night. That is why we always tell you guys to manage your bankroll. Sometimes the most predictable caps literally just go the complete opposite direction. That all being said, can we see a bounce back tonight from the Reds?
The reality behind this thing is it's that time of year where you take the easy stuff and you got to go the other direction, right? So it's like everybody was saying, this is where I always love to, I don't like to hear other input or caps before I make my cap. But when you hear it after the fact, it's like, oh, dude, if you're using the same point that everybody else is, you got to find a different point to use, right? So that's why we try to come up with these uniquenesses, the way Shark attacks the lines, the way that I try to look at the trends out there. So, I think at the end of the day, to me, this is a team that bounces back in the Cincinnati Reds. But I'm going to stick to the under in this game here. Rather than banking on, I love the bounce back off the shutout. So I'm not going to try to talk out of both sides of my mouth with this thing. It's just a matter of me saying the Reds on the road against the National Leagues have been an under team. They're cashing at about a 56% rate. Strategically long-term, if you continue to grind it out, time in and time out, road unders off a shutout are 59% winning this past 12 months. So I like an under. I'll go back to it. We'll see that San Fran. You don't have to push me very far to get San Fran on an under, Shark. And then you add Cincinnati to it. They just sucked yesterday. I'll take the under.
Yeah, I'm going back to Cincinnati in this game. Last night, as I said, just a missed handicap, and I would love to ask Chase Burns what happened. That's clearly psychological because that guy had been unbelievably consistent. I'd say what happened, bad flight, was there food, like you tired, bad nap in the hotel? Because these guys do nap in the afternoon, just as a little off-the-record comment. Most professional athletes, they get up for some sort of morning workout. They do take a nap in the middle of the afternoon, then have a little snack and coffee before the game. So something was up. I don't know what it was because he gave up 5 earned runs in the first 2 innings, and then that was it. But here's the key point. We talk about this with a lot of games. When you see the Giants cluster just in the first 2 innings and do absolutely nothing for the next 7, that is your current version of the San Francisco Giants. And Brady Singer did face off against the Giants at home in the previous series back in April, and he was great in the matchup. 6 innings pitched, only 1 earned run on a solo home run. Incredibly, incredibly efficient in the game. You can't say the same thing about Adrian Hauser. Hauser's a journeyman at the highest order. He bounces around every single year, and this is really where it's going to regress the other direction. The Reds have now lost 2 straight games in kind of funky outliers. The Sunday game was a melt, Andy Abbott, late in the game, and then the outlier early from Burns yesterday. I never thought I'd be saying Brady Singer is going to restore normalcy to a professional franchise, but I think he will tonight. And final point on this kid's from Florida. I believe he went to the University of Florida. Shout to the Gators, about to open up in a week and a half. Big dog stuff, but he's actually performing well on the West Coast this year. 2 starts, beat Seattle 5-3, actually had no problem at this division at altitude at Coors Field, which is historically awful for pitchers, with a win there. So he's 2-0 last 2 at the West, 1-0 at this division in the last month and a half. Great stuff in this game, guys. Take the Reds and less cash. Just over an hour, guys. A big card on a Tuesday, and we got best bets.
I like that tagline, Shark. We find the edge. You cash the tickets. I got 6 edges for you guys here. I'm going to go Kansas City first 5 at even money. Take that under 8.5 in the Dodgers game at plus 108. I'll take Texas on the first 5 at minus 124. Then we'll flip on over to the late games there. I'll take Seattle minus 104, Pittsburgh plus 113, and close her out with that Giants game under 8 at minus 108.
All right, I'm going to give you guys at least 4 here. Red Sox. It's getting steamed down even more. I mean, the syndicates hurt us. They might as well make the Marlins a favorite by game time here, guys. Guys, put billions on it. Worst game on the card. You guys just – and Mike, you'll see this in NBA season. Syndicates bet the opposite side of line functionality every game. We're up about 500 units, and they're on the other side of every fucking game. It blows my mind. Who are these guys that think they're geniuses on the wrong side of every game? I have no idea. That all being said, Red Sox are going to win this game by 5 runs, guys. Red Sox, Mike, put it on record. We're going to go 2.5 units for the people on this one, minus 135. And we're going with the Rockies. The buy shirt is engaged, plus 140. Astros buy hat, plus 133. Royals, plus 117. And the final buy hat, Cardinals minus 122. Fire stuff, guys. Mike, let's do a parlay.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff here. How about can I get you on the under 8.5 in that desert game, Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Runs in the Yankees game over 8.5.
It's a good question. I honestly don't really have a look in that one. I don't mind it. Is that a strong point for you?
Yeah, that was a big Will Warren likes his overs.
Sure, let's go.
Plus, we got that bag from the kid from Towson, right, on the Houston side.
And, I mean, Mike, you talk about the syndicates banging the wrong side of the game. It's getting steamed to the under. Great.
Love that. And then you want to go with the Guardians? Did you like the Guardians?
I do think the Guardians will win the game, yeah. That's fine.
So how about Arizona under 8.5, Yankees over 8.5, and then Cleveland? We'll give you an over and under and a side. There you go. That's a nice little 3-leg parlay to bang out the books, you guys. Shark, glorious Tuesday, my friend. Always a pleasure. Man, we got into the weeds with it today, but we always round the bases and figure out a way to get it done within that hour or so time frame. So great stuff. I'm really excited about today's card. I think we got some really good looks, put our heads together. A lot of collab spots too. So that makes me feel really good about placing my action down for the evening. And we'll be back to do it again tomorrow, you guys, at 12 p.m. with Bases Loaded. Lots going on here on the Sports Money Network. So you can check out the Dana White Contender Series with VB MMA picks, breaking down the full 4 or 5 fights tonight. I can't recall. Looking for some live action. You guys will find the horse racing with Razor. We've got the replay from the morning steam with Ramon Scott. And we got more shows in the works, you guys. So stay tuned here. This is going to be your sole source, your single destination, your preeminent destination, as some would say, Shark, for all of your sports gambling needs here. And always a pleasure to rock and roll with you, my friend.
Yeah, without question. Fire show on a Wednesday here, or excuse me, Tuesday. I'm looking at Wednesday now. I'm just so excited for tomorrow's show already. Big stuff tomorrow. We got a lot of getaway games. My guy says, "Can I sign up your picks? 500 units." Guys, we've been doing this for decades. By the way, this is not like last night, 500 units, but that is over the course of time, ladies and gentlemen. That all being said, guys, we will see you guys tomorrow. Fire show on a Tuesday. If you guys haven't dropped a comment live, we understand that. A lot of people have a big dog life at work right now, and we appreciate you guys tuning in at any point in the day. But please drop a like and a comment on the show after the show to help spread the content across the internet. That is it for this one, the Tuesday edition. MLB Bases Loaded, August the 25th, 2026. For Mike, I'm the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.